Okay, so we're starting on Project 20. I do want to remind you that the textbook is right here under, big surprise, textbook in Canvas. Okay, just to let you know, I've got it open on a different screen and I'll be referring to it as we do this lesson. Okay, so we're doing project number 20, page 80. Go ahead and open that and you'll see that I gave you a starter and the text here that's going into it. So the next thing I'm going to do is come over here. Now I'm just going to get rid of these templates. So just, yeah, gone. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put in the title, Exploring Presentation Software. It's the end of the day for me. Okay, now we do want to use a serif font, so I'm going to come up here to the font box. I'm going to go ahead and click on that drop down, and I will find a serif font that I like. I don't know, sure, Georgia. I haven't used Georgia in a while. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm just going to come over here to the subtitle featuring Google Slides. Featuring, featuring, there's no comma there, Google Slides, comma, Microsoft PowerPoint, P-O-I-N-T, and that is correct spelling. There's no space in the word PowerPoint. And Apple Keynote. Good. Okay, now again, I used Georgia here, so I'm going to come down to these right here. I'm going to select them. All I did was press the left mouse button down, drag it all the way across. And I will again use that same font, Georgia. And we're going to make the text black because that gray just doesn't look very good. There. Now, the next thing we're going to do is bring this over halfway. So I'm going to go to the right sizing handle, okay? And I will press and hold on that and drag it over till I see that red line. That red line right there, if you're seeing it flicker back and forth, is the center of the page. I'll do the same thing for this. All the way over. Now, this time we won't see a red line. Instead, we're going to see is those blue lines telling us that the two text boxes are lined up. Good. I'm going to go ahead and make this one bigger by going to that bottom sizing handle, pulling down, and I'll make this one bigger by going to the top sizing handle and going up, okay? And you do note it's bigger. The reason we're doing this is so that we can fit in an image over here. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and select the words Exploring Presentation Software, Control-C. I'll come up here and I will open a Google Images search. The new Google Image search within Slides isn't that good. Control-V, enter. This one looks okay. Let's see. That, as I said, this one looks okay. What you don't want is a lot of text, just to tell you. That's like the one thing we want to avoid, because we don't want people getting hung up on reading every picture in our document. So, I think I'm just going to go with this one here, okay? Actually, we've already got the words Exploring Presentation Software. Change my mind. Good. Right-click. And I'm going to, so I right-click on the image over here, and I'm just going to come over here to copy image. And I'll come back over to here, and I'll paste that in. Right over here, I click over Control-V. There it is. Now, I can adjust it by just moving it. See that four-pointed cross? And now it's halfway up. You want to make sure you're leaving some blank space around the edges. The art word there is negative space. We just want to make sure there's some room around the edges. Okay. Now we're going to go and create our next slide. I click over here. I'm going to click on the plus sign right here. And then I'm going to go over here to Layout. And in Layout, it looks like what I want is title and 2 columns. It's not quite the way it's laid out in the book, but it'll work, and you'll see that in a minute. So now I'm going to come up here and select right up there, Types of Presentation Software. Good. Now, I want to take care of the font and stuff. So I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to click on this right here. Doesn't matter where. And then I'm going to use the Format Painter. Click on that. Now click on that slide. Now you see how it's turned into a paintbrush with that bar. When it has the cursor, I'm just going to press and hold and drag it right over. That was that easy. Okay. This is the title, so I think I am going to bump it up to 30. Okay. The other thing we're going to do is center align this text. So we center aligned the text. Okay. Now, I also want to raise this up to the top because I know we're going to need room later on. So I'm going to move over and you see the 4-pointed arrow. I'm pressing and holding the left mouse button down. That red line in the middle tells me I'm centered side to side. And when I see that red line at the top, that tells me that my title is at the top of the page. Great. Now I'm going to click on this one, as strange as it seems. I'm then just going to click on the edge and hit backspace. I don't want that box at all. This box, I'm going to raise up until I see the red line. That red line tells me that I'm touching the bottom of the title box. I'm also going to pull this one down a little ways to see that red line. I'm now at the bottom of the page. Okay, so made myself a little bit of room. So now we're going to go ahead and grab some of the text for this one. So come over here, and there's actually quite a bit here to copy in today's market. This is a pretty busy one. Control C. Going to come back over to here and Control V. Yeah, it's a mess. So what we're going to have to do, you remember that backspace, spacebar thing? Backspace, spacebar. You can see what I'm doing is simply stitching these back together. 3 powerful functions, backspace, spacebar. Okay, oddly enough, okay, that first one's okay. The second one we need to stitch together, consistent, format and design, and down here, collaborative features, slideshow, anytime, anywhere. Okay, now I'm going to come down here, available to consumers, backspace, spacebar, arrow down, to programs in today's market, backspace, spacebar. Now I've put these together. Next thing I'm going to do is just select them, and I'm going to apply bulleted list to those 3 items. We're close to done. Obviously, this is too small. Like I've told you guys plenty of times, nothing smaller than 20-point font on these slides. So what font did I use? I used Georgia, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and select all of this, and all I did was I came down here to the bottom, pressed and held the left mouse button down, drug to there, and now I'm going to select the same font that I've been using, great, and 20-point. 20. This created a problem, a big problem. We've now got text below the slide, okay? I'm just going to tell you, this slide, we're going to have to do a little bit different than what it says in the book because otherwise stuff will not fit. So I'm going to go to the sizing handle right here, press and hold. I'm just going to drag that over to about there. Okay, now I'm looking carefully to make sure that my last word is on the slide. It is. If it wasn't, I could come out a little bit more and probably a few more words would snap in. Now it's clearly on the slide. This one slide simply has too much on it to do it the way the book wants it to do while still having a minimum of 20-point font. And that is important, okay? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do slide number 3. So I'm going to right-click here on slide 2, right-click, duplicate slide. Now, the first thing I'm going to do here is drag this back over to the halfway mark, okay? Then, I'm going to go ahead and select all of the text here. I'm just going to go ahead and grab all of the text right there, okay? Now, before I do anything else, come over here, free all the way down to the word drive. Control C. Come over here, that's all still selected. Good, Control Shift V. There we go. Now, we just need to stitch this back together a little bit. Can be created, edited, okay. So we're going to start there, backspace, spacebar. You see how it's coming back together. If I were to just apply the bulleted list before doing that, and we can still fix it, don't worry. You see how it's going to do that? It's going to have those bullets at places that make no sense. From any computer with an internet connection, backspace, 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 space. And that's why I did it before bringing in the bullets, or turning on the bullets normally. And that's the way we'll normally do it. I just wanted you to see that you can do it the other way. Backspace, 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 spacebar. Good. So this is now all put together, and obviously, maybe not. This particular slide was all about Google Slides. I'm not spending as much time in the video just talking about the stuff that we're covering, because I'm trying to keep this to a reasonable length for you. And I'm just going to come up here and go to Google Slides, Control C, and now over here, and I'm just going to come over up here, Control V, and let's go ahead and add the word logo. Okay, good. We've got some logos for Google Slides. I'm just going to go ahead and click on this one here. It looks okay. I'm going to right-click on that, and I'm going to copy image, and we'll come back to our assignment, clicking right over here, and Control V. And there's our logo. Again, we want it, now there it's the centered on the page up and down. And we just want to make sure, again, that we have negative space around it, and that this area is about the same size as this. I'm going to press the arrow keys on the keyboard in order to sort of center that a little bit more, because it was just not centering as easily as I liked with the mouse button. Okay, Google Slides is done. Let's go on to the next one. I'm going to right-click on slide 3, duplicate slide, and this one is going to be, come on, Microsoft PowerPoint. And like I said earlier, this is correct. There is no space between power and point on that. I'm going to get rid of the logo real fast, just to remind us that we need to replace it. Going to come over here. This was certainly the first popular one for Windows. Control C. And then I'm going to go ahead and select all of this right here. Control Shift V. Okay. Now, the reason it put the bullets like this is simply because we already had bullet points there. So I'm going to go backspace, 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 spacebar. Good. Widely used, designed by Microsoft. Good. Component of the Microsoft Office suite. Backspace, backspace, backspace. Remember, when we talk about a software suite, we mean a group of programs that are generally sold together and have a similar look and feel. And finally, launched in 1990 for Windows. Backspace, 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 spacebar. And the Macintosh operating system. Okay. And is available. Yeah, I don't really like, because it almost makes it look like it was launched for the Mac in 1990, which it wasn't. But it was one of the first ones for Windows. Okay, I'm going to come back over to here, and Microsoft PowerPoint logo. Okay, and this one looks fine. I'm going to go ahead and click on that one. I'm going to right-click on it. Copy image, come over here to the assignment, coming over to this area over here, and Control V. Okay, we've got negative space around it. Honestly, it looks fine, just the way it is. We just want to make sure, again, that our image is not like right against the edge like that, because when you actually present, that looks like it got cut off, like something went wrong, okay? It doesn't look like you intended it to be that way. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and go to slide number 5. This is actually a relatively short assignment. Right-click, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate slide. And this one, I'm going to get rid of the image first. And now I'm going to put up, click, 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 Apple Keynote. Good. Now, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to grab the text. Yep, Control-C. Going to come back over here to this, select all of this, Control-Shift-V, and then we'll just do some cleaning up of this. Presentation software by Apple, yes. Part of the iWork Productivity Suite, yes. Released for the iOS and OS 10. By the way, that X is pronounced 10 operating systems. And over here, offered for free to anyone with an iOS device at this point. Good. Okay. I'm going to come up here and just grab that. Remember, 1 click moves the cursor, 2 clicks selects the word, 3 clicks selects when I say the paragraph, up till the enter key was pressed. Even though you can't see it in this, Control C, because we don't have that show all button that you've seen me use in Docs. Control V, enter, and here's an apple. Good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and right click on this one right here. That works. Right click, copy image, and over here, Control V. Okay, and we're kind of done there. We're not really working too much on this slide set. We just want to do an introduction to what these are. You might want to read these, but I'm not spending that much time on them. Now we're adding another slide here. I'm going to go ahead and right click, and again, I'm going to duplicate slide. Now, if this time I'm going to click on the image and get rid of it, I'm also going to click on the text. And remember, I want to put that four-pointed cross right over the line. I now clicked on the line. You saw how it changed shade. Let's do that again. Okay, maybe not. Okay, backspace there. Yep, we wanted to get rid of both of them. Now, up here in the title, we're going to put in the words comparison guide. Comparison guide. Okay, now down here in the body, we're going to insert a 6-column by 4-row table. Let's come over here to Insert, Table, and you can see the numbers down there at the bottom changing. When it says 6x4, that's pronounced 6 by 4, and so we're just going to go ahead once it says 6 by 4, and we're going to click. There we go. Okay, good. Now, I am going to widen this up some. You notice how you can probably see 3 little dots right there. I'm going to go to the edge there, come real close to the edge over here, I'm going to come real close to the edge over here. Yeah, this thing's a little bit less. I don't want the table off the image. Go there, that red line, good, and we're going to come down. Red line. Okay. Now, we're still going to have to move stuff around in a few minutes, but let's go ahead and get started with our text. We may have to lower this a bit because I see that it's covering that letter there, so I'm going to pull that down a tiny bit more. Okay, so Google Slides. Okay, arrow key, Microsoft PowerPoint. No, I'm a slow typist when people are watching me, and here, of course, you're watching me. S-O-F-T, Microsoft. Good. And this one is Apple Keynote. Good. Okay. Up here, visual effects. Good. Audio capabilities. Press the tab key to move over. Video capabilities. Video C-A. Tabbed over again. Collaboration. C-O-L-L-A-B-O-R-A-T-I-O-N. Good. Collaboration. Capabilities. Tab over, cost. Apparently I spelled, yeah, I see what I did wrong there. Capabilities, yes. And I just, as you know, right-clicked on it to do that. Free when you create a Google account. Down arrow. Must purchase through Microsoft. And that's a little bit deceiving in that, or a Microsoft authorized reseller, which is anywhere you can buy Office. So yeah, it's available a lot more places than just Microsoft. Free with a new Mac device. Good. Now, I'm just going to add a couple more things here. No. Down arrow. Yes. Now I'm going to do this the really easy way because I don't want us to do more work than we have to. Control C. Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. Yeah, the rest of these are yes. Hold it. Oh, oops. So let's go ahead and do that, then we'll fix it. Control V. I made a mistake. V, V, and I'm not going to restart the video to fix it. I'm just going to fix it. Okay, and that's actually no. Good. Now, these are where I put in the wrong thing. Under Visual Effects, About 15, A-B-O-U-T, 15 Effects. Yep. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and select this right here, Control C. Select the word yes. Come on. Control V, and I'm going to move that up a little bit. Good. Now, select the word yes, Control V. Oh, I must have made a mistake. Okay, Control C, Control V, Control V, and now I'm going to make a change here, About 70. Come up to this one, and this one's about 50. Okay, again, no reason to do more than we have to. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and select everything. Remember, I was using Georgia. Okay. Now, we're going to center and align some stuff real quick. The next thing we're going to do is come over here, and I'm going to center there, and I am also going to center up and down so that it's centered that way. Okay, the problem is this text is still way too small, okay? So I'm going to start bumping that up, okay? We obviously need to make some changes here. Okay, so we've got some room here, not a whole lot, but some. So I went to this bar, and we're going to be doing this quite a bit on these, okay? And you see when it turns into those two lines and the arrow, that's when I can start making adjustment. Went too far. Going to go back just a smidge. Good, that one's fixed. Now, I'm going to come over here and try fixing this one a bit, okay? Making some more room there. You see how I'm just going a little bit at a time, okay? I don't want to go too far at a time and mess stuff up. Okay, let's come over here. Good. Let's do audio capabilities. Okay, what I mean by too much is if you see the letter loop around, you went too far. It's that simple, okay? So now, there, oops, not enough. And here we go, video capabilities. And I'm going to go a tiny bit more on video capabilities, I think. Okay, good. See, we're down below do you see that line right there? That's the bottom of the slide. And we don't want to be below the bottom of the slide, rather obviously, because that's stuff that's going to be cut off, and it's not going to look right. Okay, now we got that. Now let's go to this top one here, and we're going to raise it some. Okay, let's try a little bit more. Okay, now we got everything on the slide at least. Good. We can go ahead and let's see if we can adjust. Now that we've done that, I think we can adjust this. Nope, not far, not very far at all. We don't have a lot of room there to play with at all. We're going to try going up here a tiny bit. Okay, it won't let me. Go up there a tiny bit. Won't let me. And so we've got the issue here that, frankly, we can't use even that size font. So we're going to go ahead and select all of this again. And we are going to have to go with a smaller font. There's just, with this particular font, okay? And now you see that it's all on one slide. Okay, we're going to do a little bit more with this one. I'm going to go ahead now and select everything again, okay? And I do want you to do this. We're going to go ahead and first, we're going to make the border color black. Now, if I click off of it, you see now the black is more visible. Good. I'm going to go ahead and select everything again. You don't need to be doing the deselection. I'll tell you when you need to do that, okay? Okay, and this one here, just to tell you, something strange is happening in this one. Backspace. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and select everything here again. Again, I'll tell you when you need to deselect. Next, I want you to go to Border Dash. I want you to use one of these, okay? Basically, I want to see that you saw how to do it. Now that I've done that, I'm also going to adjust the border weight, the thickness of those border lines. And I went to 3. if you're one 3-point. Remember, 1 point is 1/72 of an inch. Basically, the smallest thing to be printed on an old-fashioned printing press and be seen. Okay, and our fill color, we're going to leave that alone, but I do want to just show you what that does real quick. That changes the fill color. Okay, you can leave that if you want to change the fill color. Just remember, I have to be able to read it. Okay, so if you really want a fill color, I would recommend from this row right here, which is the lightest ones. So like the lightest of oranges, and there you got it. Okay. This is done. I'm going to call this done. Remember to turn it in. And I'm going to go ahead and finish up this video.